guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video, and today we're doing a rant review. This book series has caught a lot of steam and has blown up incredibly recently, and that is the Ice Planet Barbarians series. Basically, the Ice Planet Barbarians series is about these women who are abducted by these stereotypical green, grotesque Martian-esque aliens. The cargo hold gets to be either like too heavy or some reason pops up where the aliens have to dislodge the cargo ship. It's kind of like Pitch Black with Vin Diesel, if y'all have ever seen that movie. The cargo hold with all of the women lands on this ice planet, and it's about these ice planet aliens finding mates with each of the women. So pretty much, I believe each book in the series is about a respective woman finding her mate. It's kind of a trashy read, but they're fun, right? At least I thought the first book was. The first book was great. But today we are going to be ranting about the second book, Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. Barbarian Alien follows one of the women named Liz and her mate, Raahosh. I am just going to be ranting to you guys about what I really didn't like about this book, because the differences, as I said in my mid-year book freakout tag for 2021, they are staggering between the first and the second book. And we're going to be talking about that today. So before we start, I just want there to be a trigger warning for non-consensual situations, rape, and kidnapping. And this is going to be spoilery, so stick around for the tea, I guess. The second book lands where the first book left off. So the first book is Georgie's book. Georgie is a bad bitch. She beat one of the green Martian-style aliens' heads in with the butt of a gun. She and her mate, Vectal, he is the chief of the tribe of blue ice aliens, and power couple, if I've ever seen one. All right, and basically the humans, because they're not adapted to the climate of this ice planet, they are incidentally freezing to death and getting horribly sick, not to mention they have horrible injuries from the crash. And so they have to get this kind of like worm parasite type of thing that's kind of like a symbiote between the ice aliens and the environment, and it helps them, you know, acclimate to it. And it's called a Khui, Khui. So in order for the humans to survive, they have to get the worm. The first book ends with the tribe of blue aliens headed by Vectal coming to help the humans and get the Khui, and basically all the humans get the Khui except for one, and that's Liz. And that's where the first book ends. And the second book starts off with Liz's point of view. Liz doesn't want the Khui. You have to like open a wound and let it, like, you know, let the worm go in. It's ugh. So Liz is like, I'm not doing that. So that's what like the whole situation with the worm, right? That the context for the worm. I loved Vectal, the mate, the alien that we followed in the first book. I loved him. He was great, right? Raahosh, I hated Raahosh. I still hate Raahosh. Context with Raahosh. He's kind of solitary. He's the grumpiest one out of all of the tribe, and he has a troubling family past. His father and his mother, they were mates, but his mother did not like his father. So his father, in order to seal the mate bond, kidnapped his mother and young Raahosh and took them to a solitary cave and kept her there until he got her pregnant, and then brought her back so that nobody in the tribe could, I guess as he thought, take her away from him. They did. He and Liz are mates. Shocker. And he basically sees Liz sneaking off, and he's like, what are you doing? You're my mate. And Liz is like, screw you, I don't even know who the hell you are, and I'm not getting a parasite in me. And Raahosh is like, well, too bad, bitch, you're getting it. And you know, they have this whole fight, and Liz tries to run away, understandably, and Raahosh pins her down You heard me right. Pins her down, cuts her arm open, and slips in the worm. And she's knocked out. So he slings her over his shoulder, right? And takes her to a cave. And he's like, what I'm doing is wrong. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take her to this cave, like dear old dad did. And even if she doesn't fall in love with me, I'm gonna get her pregnant. So that way, the tribe won't be able to take her away from me, right? They'll have to keep us together. Where is the logic in that? I'm sorry. Am I stupid? I must be. Before the aliens had met the human women, Vectal basically sat them down and gave them a pep talk. He was like, okay, listen, they're not used to the mate bond. They don't have it, right? So you're gonna have to let them make the choices, because at the end of the day, they're stranded on a planet. They don't know what's going on. They are vulnerable and they need our help, and we can't take advantage of them. And I was sitting back here like, yes, Vectal, we love to see it. Raahosh didn't, okay? Because he's just like, my dad's spirit is talking to me and I've inherited the trait of kidnapping my mate. So that's basically where everything starts to go crazy. I need to take this off. I am getting heated. Anyway. I love the mate bond, the whole soulmate, mate type thing. I love that. I get why a lot of people don't like it. It's cliche and it can be insta-lovey. I like it though, okay? In the first book, it was done so well. Vectal was, he had a questionable start at the beginning. However, the character growth and he, like how respectful he was of what Georgie wanted and what she didn't want. Raahosh reminded me of my little gripe with the mate bond. Basically, the only thing that I hate about the mate bond and the one-sidedness it can bring is when party A doesn't have it and party B does. When party A doesn't have the mate bond, but because their mate does, and whatever magic is going on around it, that magic or science or chemistry, whatever it is, makes their body want the mate bond, you know what I mean? In Liz's case, in her head is saying, I hate him, he's a dick, but every time he walks by, her nipples perk up and it's Niagara Falls down under. Because their first sex scene, the entire time he's performing, down under for her, she is saying, I don't want this. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. Yet the entire time her hands are guiding him. And it's a whole thing with mixed messages, yet it's supposed to be romantic. The mixed messages with all of that just made me incredibly uncomfortable. It brought into the question of why is the mate bond being used almost as a substitute drug in order for sex to happen. It's like bringing in the narrative that, oh, don't worry, your body wants it, so your mind will come to accept this, and you will want it eventually. And it's like, ew? Why do I have to come to accept that it will be consensual to my mind eventually? How can I not trust my own body with this? And then it opened up the door for how Liz basically develops Stockholm Syndrome. The Stockholm Syndrome in this book was beating Liz's ass. I didn't particularly care for Liz, but I felt horrible for her because Honeycomb, you're a victim. It was very uncomfortable to see Liz's and Raahosh's relationship pan out under that guise of the one-sided mate bond. And don't worry, your head may not want it, but your body does, and that's all that matters. What happened to the good mate bonds, right? Because Vectal's and Georgie's, that was great. It was adorable. It was so cute. He respected her shit. And I want to know where the difference came in, because Vectal is leagues above Raahosh. Raahosh wishes he was Vectal. He had nicknames for Georgie, all right? He called her Little One. He called her Resonance. He literally called her My Little Five Fingers, because the humans have 5 fingers and the aliens have 4. Meanwhile, Raahosh, when his friends come around, when they finally find Raahosh and Liz, and his friends are talking to her, and Raahosh gets jealous because why not? And Raahosh tells Liz that they should only respond to her, that they should only call her by Raahosh's woman. You have the wrong idea, Honeycomb, and the wrong bitch, all right? Because, wow. I hated Raahosh. I hated his guts. I thought he was a pig and a douchebag. And honestly, even though I didn't like Liz, I felt horrible for her because at the end of the book, she does get pregnant. Mind you, on this planet, apparently pregnancy lasts for 3 freaking years. I'll be damned. Liz's whole situation is she's in love with her rapist by Stockholm Syndrome. She's impregnated by him, and the whole cherry on top is that she'll be pregnant by him for 3 freaking years. The writing in the first book, it's average writing, you know, it's stereotypical, trashy, but fun romance writing, right? That's how it was in the first book. The second book kind of had that too. It's just with Liz, you know, they don't really recognize the word qui, or, you know, the word for the parasite that, you know, acclimates them to the climate. So she, throughout the book, calls it a cootie. Every time she said the word cootie, I lost a freckle. Not to mention, when the Stockholm Syndrome basically finally kicks her in the head, there's no actual address of, like, acceptance of the mate bond. She's just all of a sudden head over heels for Raahosh. I would understand it if Liz forgave him for what he did, and, you know, if he showed some growth, whatever it was. But it was made to seem like kidnapping her was totally okay because he loves her. I don't see how that's supposed to be romantic. I don't. Now, another thing that kind of falls in with the writing, kind of not, that is its own section, is who's written to be bad versus good. We all know you're supposed to, I guess, view Raahosh as this good, caring, protective husband, now father. I'm sorry, but last time I checked, I'm not going to be rooting for a rapist who tries to keep his victim with him simply by impregnating her. The tribe, when they bring Raahosh and Liz back, right? They exile Raahosh. And you know me, I was popping open bottles of champagne. I was ecstatic. The tribe is bad for doing this. It's like, because we are supposed to root for Raahosh and Liz, now that he's been exiled, we're supposed to hate the tribe. We're supposed to not like the tribe because because they took away Raahosh from Liz. Even Georgie and Vectol are put in a bad light. Why are we supposed to be mentally punishing the tribe for punishing a rapist and a kidnapper?
We need to launch a full federal investigation into why and how this happened. Who allowed this?
Then Liz is written to be this triumphant heroine that will do anything for her man, that will do anything to be with her man. What she does is she takes one of the tribe mates hostage in order to get herself exiled, and they do. Rightfully so. So at the end of the book, Raahosh and Liz end up together. Like, what am I supposed to say? So I gave Barbarian Alien 1 star. And I just want to know what happened. I just want to know where the good mate bond went, why we all of a sudden went from respecting the women's choices to making her body respond. Meanwhile, her head doesn't. I understand the necessity for, you know, like the different types of storylines because there are like, what, 12 women that need their own books. So I understand the need for variety, right? But this isn't the variety we wanted, nor was it the variety that we needed, all right? I was honestly quite disgusted by book 2 and just how far we fell from book 1. So yeah. So you guys, that was my rant review for Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. I really don't know what else to say about it other than the series has kind of has a bad taste in my mouth now. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all are staying safe and that you have a happy Pride Month, and that I'll see you in the next video.